Thou hast known my reproach, and my shame, and my dishonor. Mine adversaries are all before thee. Psalm 69, verse 19. David does not ask God to investigate his situation. He declares that God already knows it. God has known, not will know, not may know. The knowledge is complete and prior to David's prayer. 3 words are stacked on top of each other: reproach, shame, and dishonor. Each one names a different dimension of public humiliation. Reproach is the verbal attack, the words spoken against him in the city gate and in the drunkard's songs. Shame is the internal wound those words produce, the collapse of standing before others. Dishonor is the stripping away of dignity, the public verdict that a man counts for nothing. David has experienced all 3, and God has seen every layer. The second half of the verse does not ask God to punish the adversaries. It places them before God's sight. My adversaries are all before you. Every man who mocked David's fasting, every elder who spoke against him at the gate, every drunkard who made him the subject of a tavern song. God saw them all. David does not need to name them or number them. This verse carries messianic weight. The New Testament writers draw on Psalm 69 when describing Christ's suffering. Jesus bore reproach, shame, and dishonor at levels no human being has matched. He was mocked in the praetorium, stripped before the crowd, and nailed to a cross between thieves while enemies watched and laughed. God the Father knew every detail of that reproach. He saw every adversary. He permitted it and did not look away. Reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none, and for comforters, but I found none. Psalm 69, verse 20. The reproach David described in the previous verse has now done its work. It has broken his heart. David does not use the word casually. The breaking is real. The accumulated weight of public mockery, family rejection, and enemy pressure has fractured something inside him. He names the result: heaviness, not anger, not bitterness, not a call for revenge. The word describes a man pressed down under a load he cannot lift. David carries it without relief. David then describes what he searched for and did not find. He looked for someone to take pity on him. He searched for comforters. Both his searches came back empty. This is not self-pity. David states a fact. In the ancient world, a man under public reproach needed advocates and comforters to stand with him. David found no one willing to do this for him. John 19, verse 28, connects this verse to Christ on the cross. Jesus thirsted, surrounded by enemies, with no one to offer comfort. The soldiers offered vinegar, while the crowd offered mockery. His disciples had scattered. The verse in the Psalms points forward to a suffering that surpasses David's. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. Psalm 69, verse 21. The enemies who offered no comfort go further. They replace food with gall and drink with vinegar. Gall is bitter and poisonous. Vinegar is sour and undrinkable. What should sustain life is replaced with what poisons and repels. The cruelty is deliberate and precise. Matthew 27 verse 34 and Matthew 27 verse 48 record the literal fulfillment of this verse at the crucifixion. Soldiers offered Jesus vinegar, mixed with gall, before the nailing, and vinegar on a sponge while he hung dying. What David described as his enemies' cruelty, Christ received in full measure on the cross.